Hi, Ben. Is he there?
Hi there, Senator. How's it going?
Hey, Ben. Well, I'm weathering the storm. Let me just say that. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for asking.
Good.
Let's dive right in here.
Mm-hmm.
You broke with your party yesterday to vote to end the shutdown. How come?
Yeah, a couple of things. First, I don't think we need to shut down the government to be able to address the issue of the looming healthcare crisis in this country. It is important for us to work together to not only focus on how we make sure that those that have Medicaid and were kicked off of Medicaid have access to health care, but we also have a looming problem with the Affordable Care Act. That's really so many people that have the Affordable Care Act right now are in potential of losing access to the Affordable Care Act through the premium tax subsidies. And so I think for me, it was important that we work together, keep the government open to do that. Here's why. A government shutdown that I know now that we're in, they are costly. It would harm Nevadans, and it's going to now that we're in it. And we already have an economy in not just Nevada, but in this country where tourism and travel is taking really a deep dive. I mean, we are struggling right now to make sure that we can open our doors and keep them open for tourism and travel. I also know that there are a lot of independent contractors in the state of Nevada who are working. There's almost 2,000 of them who right now, because of the shutdown, could lose their jobs and never get paid. And then we have almost 13,000 federal workers in Nevada who will now be furloughed and not get paid. They will eventually get paid, but they're not going to be paid and working at the same time. So my position has always been, I don't support a government shutdown. It doesn't make sense. It harms people. I don't see why we want to harm people while we're trying to help others. We shouldn't swap one for the other. We can actually keep the government open and still work, and this is my goal, still work to ensure that people have access to health care in this country.
What would you say to the people in your party that, you guys are in the minority in both chambers in D.C., and as we saw with the One Big Beautiful Bill, Republicans can pass kind of whatever they want, whereas this is the one time some would say that you guys have leverage to kind of extract some concessions?
Well, I think we can work together and not shut the government down and harm people. We shouldn't be harming people with whatever leverage we have to help others. Listen, I think we're all in agreement that this administration and the Republicans right now in Congress, they're in control. And because the policies that they have set, we are seeing people that are sicker, right? And an economy that is poorer. And there's a problem there. The policies of those Republicans in control right now are harming this country. And so we have to do everything we can to turn that around. And we've got to use whatever tools we have. I agree. But those tools shouldn't harm Americans at the same time. And so we've got to be smart about, as we are moving forward, how we address and solve these problems. I think we solve it and be very strategic about also working across the aisle and finding our colleagues who want to solve these problems and bringing that forward and getting it done. I'm not going to stop doing that. That's why we're here. We're in the Senate. We got to do a job. We're appropriators. We need to work together. We got to keep the government open. Every family across the country has to manage a budget and manage it and survive on it. And we should be, as senators, doing our job. And I feel very strongly about that. But we can do it at the same time not harming the American public. And so I'm not going to stop working with my colleagues to the benefit of Nevadans. And I will work to solve these problems. I think it's important.
One of your colleagues from the House down in Southern Nevada says she's not going to accept pay during the shutdown. Is that something that you would agree to?
Yeah, I will tell you, I've been consistent. The last government shutdown that the Republicans caused, I donated my pay. I do not think, from my perspective, and I've done this even when I was Attorney General, when we had challenges in the state, when Americans or Nevadans were not receiving paychecks because of the actions that we had taken, that individuals in elected positions should receive their pay. So from my position, yeah, I will continue, like I have in the past, to donate those funds, my salary, to some of the nonprofits in Nevada.
Who caused this shutdown as you see it?
Listen, I think here's the deal, and this is why this is so crazy to me. The American public doesn't care who caused it. They just want problems solved. American public wants us to work together to solve problems in this country. And right now, Ben, you know this, I know it, you live there, my family's there, I was just home. There's high costs, there's high prices, people can't afford a home, they're concerned about groceries and clothing, and now they've been losing their health care. There's a health care crisis. They want us to solve these problems. I honestly don't believe the American public sits home right now and asks, well, who caused this problem? What they want is to say, you're all dysfunctional, now solve this problem, get together and work together. And that's where we should be, working together to solve the problems of the American public, not make it harder for them.
What do you make of official government agencies blaming the, quote, radical left? I'm on HUD.gov right now, and it said the radical left in Congress shut down the government. Those in the Trump administration are quick to try and blame Democrats. What do you make of that?
Well, it goes to what I just said. And it's coming from the highest office. We should be constructive and working together, not creating problems, not dividing this country, not picking winners and losers. That's where this administration wants to be. That's why I felt very strongly about the government shutting down and giving them more power, because they're already reckless. They're already picking winners and losers. This administration is not about bringing both parties together, solving the problems for the American public. And that's the concern that I've had, and that's why I wasn't about going into this shutdown. What I do know is that there are some of us in the Senate who are willing to work together to solve problems. And those are the people that I'm reaching out to. Those are the people that I'm talking to.
All right, Senator, sounds like that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for making the time for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben. Always good to talk to you. Have a great evening.
Yes.
Yep, you take care.
Absolutely. Yeah, talk to you later. Bye.